Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome to my channel. My name's EJ Moreno and this series is called About Last Night, the show where I talk about the movie I saw last night. What do you guys think of this? I feel like I'm all sleeve. Like, I like this, but just all sleeve. So this week I'm super excited because I'm talking about a horror movie and that's my favorite thing to talk about ever. So without further ado, this week's movie is Happy Death Day. When you walk into a movie like Happy Death Day, you know exactly what you're gonna get. It is a teen horror film. It's rated PG-13. It is from Blum, which is known for low-budget films. Everything I just said is not a negative, and it's not a swipe against Happy Death Day. I honestly love this film. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It is a blasty blast, but it's not perfect, and it does have some limitations with its budget and with its MPAA rating. I think it's fine, and none of it is really that bad to kind of harshly critique this in a really mean way. No, it's not it's a movie I can't be cynical about because I had a good time and I had a smile on my face. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's the comparisons to Groundhog's Day. Other than the gimmick of her waking up and reliving the same day, which Bill Murray's character did in Groundhog's Day, there's nothing alike. There's not even the same tone of a film, and I really enjoy that, and it's something that I think Happy Death Day it was smart for not trying to redo anything the Bill Murray film did or anything that another slasher film has done. It's pretty inventive. Not saying it's not going to reinvent the wheel of horror films or slasher films, but I will say it isn't just making a stale generic piece. It's trying to do something with the material and with the gimmick given. And boy, do they live in this gimmick. I mean, when they started off with the gag that the Universal logo started and stopped, I was just like, okay, this movie gets it. Point one there. Before the movie even starts, you know that it's aware and it's kind of in on its own joke. Points to any movie for ever doing that. That's a problem I have with a lot of films, that it's like you take yourself too seriously. So yes, you should take yourself serious, but not too serious. That's something Happy Death Day is so smart for doing, and it understands what it's making. It's a cheesy, fun, teen horror film, and it knows it.
You scared me.
I will say the third act of this movie is very, very strong. There's a death scene where she blows up, and from that moment on, the movie just elevates and elevates, and there's twists, and there's actual really good scares. Once that third act kicks in, it's the proper entry to this movie, when I'm like, finally, here we go. Yes, we had to build it. Yes, we had to have those comedic moments, but really just the whole end of the movie, there's a twist. Do I like that it kind of fades to black and gives you a couple fake endings? No. It works one or two times and I'm like, okay, it's fine, but really the end fight scenes, the end twist, all of it's really strong. It kind of makes up for a weak first act and a somewhat weak second act. And when I call those acts weak, it's not saying that they're horrible, because nothing about this movie is downright garbage, but I really feel like the movie came into itself once it kind of got to the end reveal twist, and then you start figuring things out. Though, I do like in the second act where you're trying to figure this mystery out just as much as she is, and that's the number one thing a slasher movie has to have, is that whodunit factor, that mystery factor, and this has a great whodunit. Seriously, in my notes at one point I was just like, it has to be this person. No, it has to be this person. I was scribbling out names and guesses and suspects. I love that feeling. I love that this movie had to make me think. No, it's not this pretentious artsy, making you think. No, this is just like, okay, who did it? What's going on here? Why is this happening? Good making you think. Not too strenuous on audiences, because as we learned with Blade Runner, our mother, audiences don't want to think too hard, but this is at least trying to get your brain working, and it's not a turn off your brain and watch kind of movie. It's like, hold on, watch it, try to figure things out, try to understand that this isn't as dumb as it should be.
You sneaky little biatch. Happy birthday.
I've already lived through this day.
Somebody's gonna kill me tonight.
When I go through my notes and have to figure out one major thing to compliment, I have to say that I really am impressed with the script. Yes, it is a little cliched at times and there's some eye-rolling moments, but it really tries to do something a little different. And when I mean different, it's actually give your lead character an arc and some growth. The character Jessica Rothe plays named Tree. Boy, her name Tree. What a weird name for a character, but I've written weird character names before, so I get it. But yeah, so the character Tree actually starts off as this kind of unlikable, bitchy character. And okay, I like her because she's fun and I like bitchy characters in movies, but she's kind of insufferable sometimes, and you just see that she's not a nice person. She admits that she's not a nice person, which is just something you avoid there. Usually these lead characters who are kind of bitchy and get that arc are kind of vapid to their bitchiness at first. No, she gets it that she's not a nice person, but we get to see her grow. Each death basically teaches her a lesson. It takes her a while to start learning that lesson, and I really like to see that the character Tree started off as this bitch and ended up as this kind of sweet character, but she never really changed like the soul of the elements. Sometimes you see this complete like 180 turn and you're like, that's not the character I really fell in love with at the beginning. No, I fell in love with her kind of mean sass. She didn't lose it, but she kind of refined it to know who to be mean to and honestly to smile a little bit more. And that's kind of the biggest thing I think Tree learns is smile, have a good time, and enjoy, embrace life, which is usually the message of these Groundhog Day movies, is to enjoy yourself, take life one day at a time, and just learn to smile more. So I like that this movie tried to have a positive message to it, so points to that as well. Like I said, the script is just filled with points that I'm like, that was good. Oh, that was good. I mean, they even avoided gay panic in this movie, which if you don't know, gay panic is a moment where a character, a male character, or sometimes female character has like a moment where they're embracing something gay, or something happens and someone around them freaks out because being gay is so abnormal and so weird. No, there's a moment where Tree finds out a guy in the movie's gay and she's just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then finding out later that director Christopher Landon is a gay male, it feels like he is. And I will say this one is one of the few movies that I feel gets a lot of things that appeals to a different demographic in horror. That's like an LGBT demographic or a millennial demographic. I think Christopher Landon really gets that demo that he's trying to get here. And that ties back into the awesome script, because it feels like this movie was written by someone who has actually spoken to a millennial or spoken to someone who's been in college or a little bit younger. Because there's sometimes movies that people write that I'm like, have you spoken to somebody that's not, 30? Because this is not how people speak, or not the jokes that they would make. No, this feels really accurate to someone that I just went through college. I am 26, so I know this kind of age demo that they were talking about in this movie, and it feels authentic, it feels real. Unlike movies that I've seen, like a Baby Driver this year, that I'm like, oh, they're hipsters. Oh, they're like fake millennials. They're just the idea of millennials, not real millennials. No, this movie actually feels like authentic, just kind of gross 20-year-olds, and I appreciate that. So to wrap things up, I'm gonna give Happy Death Day a 7 out of 10. This movie is not perfect by any means. It's a little cliched, it's politically incorrect, and that's what makes it so fun, and that's what I like about these kind of movies. These movies, like a slasher film, should take tropes, genres, and cliches and use them in a way to advance their story. Not use them as a crutch, but as a way to be like, no, you think this is what horror movies do, and yeah, this is what we are doing, but a little different. And this feels like it's in on the joke. It's self-aware, and the points for anyone to know what they're making fun of. That's what you have to do in a horror movie like this. That's why Scream was so successful for Wes Craven, or Cabin in the Woods was so successful for Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard, because they knew what they were doing. Happy Death Day and Christopher Landon know horror, and I really appreciate that. So that's it for this week's episode of About Last Night. It means the world to me that you tuned in. Thank you so much. Please give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and also comment down below with your feelings. Oh, also, if you do want to see me break down this movie in a more spoiler review, talk about the Easter eggs, I would be more than glad to. So comment down below if you want to see a more in-depth spoiler review of Happy Death Day.